Hi everyone, my name's Tom Hickmore, and in this episode of What Can TV Teach L&D, I'm looking at Finding Nemo. I make drama for learning, so I'm taking popular TV drama and looking at it with an analytical eye, asking what can we learn from this that can be applied to the field of learning and development. In this series, I'm focusing on well-known movies. This is the fundamental design for a story. Beginning, middle and end. Setup, confrontation and resolution. And within this paradigm lay the events, inciting incident, progressive complications, crisis, climax and resolution. In learning drama, of course, we rarely get the chance to tell a whole story. We may have to create fractions of a longer story. This is all the more reason why we should be familiar with the fundamentals of story structure, so we can mess with it. So here's a quick guide, courtesy of Finding Nemo. In the setup, we establish the world and the relationships within it. Here's Marlin, our protagonist, discussing the lovely family home with his wife. And here's the nursery, with all their eggs in it. Suddenly, a predator appears, and Marlin is knocked unconscious. When he wakes, his wife is gone, and just a single egg remains.
I promise I will never let anything happen to you.
And this egg grows up to be Nemo, a son, towards whom, for obvious reasons, Marlin is very protective. Now it's Nemo's first day at school, and we see Marlin being very protective of the boy as he sends him off to school. In fact, he's so protective that he follows along after, as he's heard that the children are going to the edge of the reef. Here are the kids at the edge of the reef looking at a boat and wondering what it is. Marlin arrives and tells Nemo not to go near that boat. In defiance, Nemo swims to it and touches it, and he's promptly captured by a diver. And that's the first act. It's packed with conflict and excitement, which is amazing when you think of all the exposition work it's doing, setting up this little world and its relationships, leading us up to the inciting incident, that moment when Nemo is captured. The inciting incident is the thing that sets off the story. The story is all about a father learning to let his child go. So, what better start than to lose that child? Now we move to the middle part of the story, the confrontation. Here, the protagonist, Marlin, tries to put right what has gone wrong in his world. But the world doesn't respond as he would like. The first obstacle is that the friend he finds to help him on this journey, Dory, turns out to have short-term memory loss. He overcomes this problem only to be met by sharks, from whom he escapes, only to set off a massive explosion. These problems, which are gradually overcome and which gradually up the stakes of the pursuit, are known as progressive complications. And these build through the second act and culminate in a crisis. The crisis is the moment we force our protagonist to make the hardest of choices, to finally grow and to realise the lessons of the quest. This is when the maximum meaning is generated in the mind of your viewer as they reflect on what they would do in that circumstance. In Finding Nemo, this moment occurs after Marlin is reunited with his son, when Dory and a shoal of fish are suddenly caught in a fishing net. Marlin wants his son to swim away and to accept the loss, but Nemo knows he can swim back into the net, marshal the fish to swim together and defeat the net.
No, I am not going to lose you again!
Marlin makes the tough decision and lets his son do this thing. He's learned to let go.
You're right. I know you can.
This leads to the climax, the climactic action in which Nemo rallies the entire shoal to swim downwards and to defeat the net. This climactic action tips us into Act 3, the resolution. The story is now over, and the resolution resolves outstanding story points and shows us how the world has been changed as a result of the climactic action.
Love you, Dad.
So, that's the classic story paradigm. Think of it like the paradigm for a table. Okay, you might want to make a table with 3 legs and a hole in the middle, but especially when you're working in a team, it helps to know what the archetypal table looks like.